Peter, it's a great pleasure to be able to talk to you about your Hibs career, because it started with a bang. I know you made your debut against Adrianians, I believe, but you're famously remembered for scoring against Real Madrid whilst you were still only 17 years old. What do you remember about that game under the floodlights?
Well, that's it. You've nailed it, because they were my heroes. You know, as a boy, you know, my favourite club was Real Madrid, and obviously the great side that they had. I was very fortunate, and then never thinking that I would ever play against them, and then my dream came true and I did, and then to score a goal. And I think, well, to this day I've still got the watch that we got presented with the Real Madrid crest on it is in my cabinet, you know, which is, well, all my medals and things will be left to my son, you know. And it was great, you know, and wonderful experience, but never thinking I would ever play against the great Real Madrid side. And it was like an adventure, scoring a goal and the winning, on the winning side, so it was magic.
I mean, what do you remember about that game overall? Because you were against the likes of Puskas, weren't you? Against some of the greats of all time football.
Well, there you are, you've named one of the best players in the world at the time, Di Stefano and Gento. And if you run through them, they're quite frightening, but in order that they were my superstars, you know, and thinking I was on the same park as them and playing against them, but was able to achieve that I performed well and I produced on the day, so that gave me a massive lift as well, because then I said, hey, wait a minute, I've just played against the best team on the planet and I've been able to show that I can play, and that gave me the confidence and the belief in myself that I could be a good player.
The word you've touched on there, confidence, pretty much sums you up really, because you just never seem to be fazed when any challenge kind of posed itself to you. You kind of rose to the challenge.
Well, I think if you're a professional or want to reach the heights, whether it be in football or golf or whatever, you've got to have the belief in yourself and that you can achieve that. And I'm sure, like any other top internationals, that you've got that for the start. You say, well, if I work hard enough and I live sensible and I set my targets, you'll get there, you know. And then once you've achieved, like playing in the reserve team was my ambition, then getting in the first team, then I wanted to be an international, then it doesn't stop there, then you want to win things, and when you've had a taste of playing in an FA Cup final and winning a medal, you want that again. So then we won the league, and then it never stops then, because your aims, you set the targets and the aims are higher, and it's just performing, because when you're going out, in my case nearly every week you were playing in front of 40,000 every week, so you were an entertainer, so you're going out there, guys are paying money to come and watch you. So I felt as if I was really just a top performer as well, and I took a pride in that every game I played in I would want to score, or I'd want to produce something that people would go away and speak about and say, oh, what about that header Cormack's today, you know. And I loved it, you know. I lived for that. It's probably as much as like if you were a professional singer or an entertainer. I was an entertainer, and I was fortunate that I was able to do it at the highest level, and very proud in what I achieved, you know.
You mentioned obviously a Cormack header. You're not the tallest player ever to have played the game, but your aerial ability was almost second to none. You scored so many goals throughout your career because of that. Was that something that came naturally to you?
Well, it was, yeah, it's natural ability. You know, I used to look at Neil Martin and guys, used to go back and say, well, how you have a technique of being able to stay up in the air when other players were coming down. And Dennis Law, who was one of my heroes, and I used to watch him, and at Pell he was the same. They had some unique act, I don't know, that they're able to stay up, and other players, and I had that ability. Somehow I was gifted that, and as you're saying, I'm only, well, 5'10" and a half, I try and get away with 5'11", and I had that unique talent that I was able to stay up when other players were coming in, and I was exceptional in the air for my height, I would think, you know.